Daniel Hayes stood at the doorway, watching as his wife, Lena, zipped up her suitcase. Her movements were sharp and deliberate, each fold and zip echoing louder than her words. She didn't look at him when she said, "Don't bother me with calls, Daniel. I'll be unavailable for 7 days. It's a retreat, no phones, no distractions." He nodded, though something about her tone felt off. "A work retreat?" he asked. She gave a tight smile. "Yes. My firm's annual strategy trip. We're going to the countryside, no signal, no Wi-Fi. It's supposed to help us disconnect." Daniel tried to smile back. "All right, then. Enjoy your break." She kissed him quickly, a polite kiss, cold and practiced, then wheeled her suitcase out the door. The sound of the taxi pulling away left the house in a silence that felt heavier than usual. For the first day, Daniel tried to distract himself. He cooked dinner, watched TV, even cleaned the garage. But he couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. He and Lena had been married for 8 years. They'd had their ups and downs, but recently she'd grown distant, emotionally absent. She'd begun working late, laughing at messages on her phone, guarding her privacy in ways she never used to. And now she was unavailable for 7 days. Daniel wasn't a jealous man, but his instincts whispered that something didn't add up. That night, while cleaning the living room, he noticed her tablet lying on the side table. She must have forgotten it. Normally, he respected her space. But tonight, curiosity burned too hot to ignore. He opened the tablet. No password. And there it was, a hotel booking confirmation. Not from her company. Not in the countryside. It was for a seaside resort, booked for 2 guests under her name. His stomach dropped. Daniel didn't sleep that night. Every memory, every smile, every late meeting replayed in his mind like broken film. By morning, his pain had turned into cold resolve. He needed to know the truth, not from suspicion, but from sanity. He called Lena's firm pretending to be a courier. "Hi, this is Daniel from Express Post. Just checking if Ms. Lena Hayes is at the corporate retreat." The HR lady on the phone sounded confused. "Retreat? Oh no, she's on personal leave this week." That was all the confirmation he needed. By the 3rd day, Daniel had tracked the resort. It was 3 hours away, along the coast. He debated for hours, whether to confront her, to call her, to let it go. But his heart refused to stay still. He drove out that afternoon, the road winding through pine forests and fading sunlight. Every mile deepened the ache in his chest. When he finally arrived, the resort looked serene, ocean breeze, white sands, and quiet laughter drifting from the restaurant patio. He parked his car, stepped out, and walked toward the lobby. "Reservation under Lena Hayes?" he asked the receptionist. She checked the system. "Yes, sir. Ms. Hayes and Mr. Richard Langston, staying in Villa 12. Daniel's chest tightened. Richard Langston, Lena's boss. He thanked her, walked out, and stood on the path leading to Villa 12. Through the open curtains, he saw movement, Lena, in a summer dress, pouring wine. Richard, standing close beside her, smiling in a way Daniel hadn't seen her smile in months. He didn't go in. He didn't shout. He just stood there for a long moment, the wind carrying the sound of their laughter. Then he turned around and walked back to his car. On the drive home, the anger came in waves, anger at her betrayal, at himself for trusting too much. But underneath it all was a deeper emotion, sadness. A quiet mourning for a marriage already gone before he even realized it. That night, he sat at his desk and began writing a letter. "Lena, you told me not to call. You said you'd be unavailable. Now I understand why. I won't confront you, shout, or humiliate you. I just want you to know that I saw enough to understand everything. I won't ask for explanations or apologies. I only wish you'd told me the truth before walking away emotionally months ago. By the time you return, I'll be gone. You'll find the papers on the kitchen table. You don't need to look for me. I'm not angry anymore, just tired. You had your 7 days of silence. Now I'll have mine, for the rest of my life. Daniel." He placed the letter in an envelope and left it beside her wedding ring on the table. Then he packed a small suitcase, just as she had, and left the house before sunrise. A week later, Lena returned home, tan and smiling, until she saw the empty living room. The note waited where he'd left it. When she read it, her knees gave out. She sat on the floor, trembling, tears streaming down her face. She called his phone again and again, but the number had already been disconnected. In her suitcase lay photos from the resort, laughter frozen in pictures she could no longer bear to look at. Months passed. Daniel rebuilt his life quietly. He moved to a new city, started a small business, and surrounded himself with peace. He never spoke about Lena again. But sometimes, when the ocean breeze brushed against his face, he remembered the man he had been, the one who believed love meant trust without limits. And sometimes, in her quiet apartment, Lena would scroll through old pictures of them, the ones from better times, whispering his name into the silence, wishing she'd realized what she was losing before it was too late. Love, Daniel learned, doesn't always end in shouting or revenge. Sometimes it ends in quiet goodbyes, the kind that echo louder than words.